We are off to Eclectic Games in Reading today for what's going to be the last cup of the season. That means we are going to be pushing our sealed only deck well past its limits with an over 30 person event. We, in preparation, have opened some key product and got some even better trades lined up that are going to warp our deck in the best way possible. I cannot wait to see how we get one. I tell you what, 2 episodes in and I am definitely feeling more optimistic than I expected to be at this point in the series. When we took our build and battle kit in week 1, smushed 2 of them together, I thought we'd be 3-4 weeks away from getting even a win at locals. Thankfully, adding in the trainer's toolkit last week proves to be the adrenaline boost to our deck that we needed. These 2 products together haven't given us a tier 1 winning deck, but they've given us a solid foundation upon which to build our sealed only journey. If you watched towards the end of last week, or even took my very not subtle hint at the start of the episode, we are going to be cracking into Zacian's EX box here. Hop's Zacian EX box, I should say specifically. We have consistency now. We have a good hops package, but what we're missing is a solid attacker, and Zacian EX is going to be that for us. Also, this box doesn't break the bank, so we are going to throw in another Journey Together pack, just so we can look for those Hops Zacian, not Hops Zacians? Well, yeah, honestly, a Hops Zacian as well, but I mean the Hops Choice Band, the Post Wick, all those little pieces that are going to help just really up our damage for our new Zacian EX. Let's get this bad boy out of his cardboard and plastic prison, and we'll go from there. We have got a solid pack selection here. A truly beautiful Wooloo, which as a Wooloo collector, this one is neither going in the deck, nor is it going to get traded off. This one I am keeping forever. Not to diss the double, who is also gorgeous, but the box was purchased for this bad boy. If we haven't spoken about Hop's Zacian EX, he is a 230 HP metal Pokemon who for 1 energy does 30 damage and 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Obviously this 30 damage gets buffed by the Choice Band, through Post Wick, through Snorlax, so we can look at hitting 120 and 30 on the bench, which when you consider that's for no energy with Choice Band, it's pretty good and swift attacker. We're taking sealed only to a cup. Let's hope these packs are banging. Gonna open them in reverse order, leaving the Journey Together till last, where hopefully we'll find ourselves another Zacian. That's the worst pack opening I've ever done. Don't think there's too much in this set that we really want. I can't remember what trainers are in here. Pokemon definitely doesn't seem like something we're after. But we've got the pack, so we'll open it. Hopefully get some trade bait. Geeta! Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy and attach one of them. This isn't it. This isn't it. But that's fine. I wasn't expecting to hit much from that set anyway. Surging Sparks last week we confused with Stellar Crown. As I said, there was a Pikachu to get in Stellar Crown, but that's obviously in this set, as is the Archulodon EX that I confused myself with. So hopefully Surging Sparks forgives us and gives us a delightful pull here. Oranguru, Vulpix, Swablu, beautiful Swablu, Quaquaval. It's a decent card, but not for standard. That could get... No, you know what? We've got Hops Bag. We don't need that card. Scatterbug. Counter Gain is definitely an option. An Eternatus. A bit of a favourite Pokemon of mine. I do really like this beast, but not for us, unfortunately. Off to a slow start here, but if we're going to save the pulls for anything, I want it to be Journey Together. There's also quite a few beautiful ARs and SRs and stuff that I know a few of my locals would trade for to get us into things we need. Scouting never hurts. So, oh, that's pretty. Hopefully Hopefully we see something in that slot. Ooh, like this. I don't know if Volcanion EX is any good. I've not heard anyone talking about Volcanion EX, but it's an EX, right? It's crazy, with how focused I've been on sealed only, I actually have just neglected to play a lot of decks in the Journey Together format, and this is going to be my last event before Destiny Rivals? Before the Team Rocket set comes out. So I really need to keep up with what the desirable and desirable and playable cards are. Because we're going to need to know what our locals are going to want to trade us for. I was hoping to add more than just Zacian this week, and we will be. I'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to pull something here. Of course we do. We could trade for things like Postwick and Hop's Choice Band, but I've got a good little bit of Journey Together put aside, and each week when we open products, it leaves me a little bit of cash to add a pack or two. So I want to try and pull them organically. There's one. I want to try and pull this stuff organically just because it will save our trades for things that are a bit harder for us to find. Postwick is huge. Can we get a choice band in here? Or like an art rare? No art rare. But we do have... we do have something. Another Mamoswine EX. I'm going to have to hope that we've got a Mamoswine lover at my locals who's looking to build the deck for the next format. I'm not going to lie, I was hoping for a little bit more here. We didn't really get much that we can play. Postwick is huge. Don't let me undersell how good the Postwick is. I am really excited about that. Having a counter gain option's handy. And semi-trade bait, I can't imagine these are worth much. But thankfully, I do have a little extra something for this episode. Last week at the end, I teased a trade that we'd done with a friend via post. Retro, I know. I'm hoping to get a few more trades done when we get to locals this week, but I do have some tasty, some tasty trades. Excuse me, I did. What else is in there? Oh, they're not all in there. So we traded away our Iono's Kilowattrel, which we pulled from pre-release, to get a few tasty cards. You might have seen as I just pulled it out. We traded for a 2/2/2 Dusknoir line. Now, with our Grand Tree and our rare candies, I think these are going to be really, really useful. If you've played Standard, you know how good Dusknoir is. We're already going to be pinging around a bit of damage onto the board, so being able to increase that and then take a KO with Zacian, or just being able to turn on our Cramorants extremely early. We can Grand True into a Dusknoir, pop it, even Dusclops, one of the 50 HP basic, and then be ready to go with a Cramorant on our first attack. This ups our aggression a lot, and that's something that we've been... I was going to say something we've been lacking, but we got some very crucial Grand Trees last week at locals, which meant we got into Corviknight quickly. But I think if we're going to run Dusknoir this week, we'll lose Corviknight, we'll go heavy on Zacian, and the way that we're going to go heavier on Zacian is, obviously, this doesn't equate to our Iono's Kilowattrel, but what does is our friend also opened up a Hops Zacian EX box and has traded us his promo, which means we have actually got a two... Oh, so many sleeves. We've got a two line of Zacian. We've got two of Snorlax, two of Cramorant, well, three of Cramorant if we want. From our entry pack last week, we actually got a third. I don't think we're going to go up to 3 Cramorants. I will be more specific in my deck check in a second. But this changes the game. These change the game. These 8 cards are going to be going... These 9 cards, I'm all over the place. These 9 cards are going to be going into our deck this week. And I think it won't feel as silly going to a cup with this list as opposed to our Corviknight list. This is much closer to what I've seen people play on some of the online cups recently, what I've seen coming out of Japan. This is one of 3 routes that I think we can take with Zacian, and I'm excited this to be our first. Normally this is where we would jump straight into our deck tech, but the fun didn't stop here this week. We took ourselves down to Reading and sat to write out our deck list, only to be joined by a friend looking to trade. They were looking for one of our Ends Darmanitan pre-release promos, which at the time on Card Market was going for around £14, so we went shopping. We ended up getting around 10 new cards, 8 of which went instantly into our list. This included a few key pieces such as Latias, Budew, Munkidori, all cards that would have been really tough for us to pull on our own and were great last minute additions to the deck. One swap did make me rather sad, even if I do think it was rather for the best, and that was dropping Grand Tree for Secret Box. Obviously this was the right swap to make, but I was sad to not have a shot at Grand Treeing out of Dusknoir here this week. So with that, our list looked a little something like this. We have totally cut Hops Corviknight this week, instead going all in on Hops Zacian EX. 2 of them, I might add. We are running a lot slimmer of a Hops package this week, with 2 Hops Zacian, 2 Hops Cramorant, and 2 Hops Snorlax. Zacian is obviously our main attacker. We do have a way of recurring it if we need to, with Cramorant looking to fill out those turns, in the middle of the game. Hopefully trying to get a few fairer prize trade attacks. I'll be taking some KOs on 2 prizes with our single prize Hop Cramorant. We do also have a different route to take with those Cramorants if we want to go on a more aggressive build, thanks to our 2/2/2 Dusknoir. Depending on how early we can get into this, there is a chance that we can pop our Dusclops or our Dusknoirs and instantly go in with the Cramorant, hopefully taking some more optimal trades on our side, but getting down to the prizes we need through to Dusknoir and Dusclops popping themselves. So that is definitely an alternate route we can take this week with our Pokemon. Hops Zacian is still going to be our primary focus, going in with Hops Zacian, following up with Cramorant, but we do have the option of Dusknoir, aggressive Cramorant if we so choose. This is normally going to be more supplementing the damage that we put on Zacian to try and pick some stuff off on the bench. Supporting this whole package, we do have the one Tatsugiri left over from what we had before, but we are adding in some of the fun new trades that we picked up at locals with a Budew, Latias EX, and 1 Munkidori. I want to up this, optimally getting to 2, I think, and then trying to get some stadiums to damage our own Pokemon. But having the 1 in here to take some damage off our Hops Zacian should it get attacked. Budew Wars. Should we get into any with Budew, taking 10 damage here and there, taking it off with Munkidori. Latias means that we no longer have to worry about our Snorlax. Budew is item lock, buying us time to get into those positions, or even just giving us a way of slowing down our opponent if we get item locked ourselves. And Tatsugiri is still there to find our supporters, our Arvans, our researchers, to get us out of those clutch moments. These are our support. This is our utility, and this is our Hops package, and these are our Pokemon. There's quite a lot here, but I am quite happy with what we're looking at compared to what we've done last week's. They're still missing a few additional stuff, like I want a second Munkidori, we'd love a Fez, we'd love Blood Moon Ursaluna. There's a few things still missing from here, but this is a really solid list going down the Dusknoir route. I'm quite excited about this. Our supporter lineup had a massive change last week, so there's not too much different here. We've got 2 Research, 2 Boss, 3 Iono, 2 Arven, 2 Brock, 1 Colrus, 1 Lana, and 1 Kieran. The Kieran is sort of a substitute for the Surfers that we've been running. It allows us to swap out our active Pokemon with a bench, but instead of drawing cards, this gives us the extra damage onto the active, which is just another damage modifier to hopefully give Zacian that extra push to get the KOs that we need. Chorus's Tenacity is a fantastic addition for finding our Postwix. It would have been good for finding our Grand Tree, but we've cut that, unfortunately. It also finds us an energy for something like Munkidori, finding that dark energy. We're going to increase our ovens, we're going to increase our Ionos. But honestly, this is, you all saw episode 1. This is a huge, jump in the right direction for our list. Our items have had some fun changes this week, with Secret Box being a huge addition. This one's in German, obviously, but we'll bring up a lovely English translation here. But effectively finds us one of every trainer card that we could want at the cost of discarding 3 cards from our hand. So this is another way of finding our stadiums. This is a way of finding a lot of things. Obviously it's an item, so it might not work under Budew, but it is a solid consistency card that's going to get us out of a lot of scrapes. So we've got Secret Box this week. We have got 3 Hops Bag, 3 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, and 2 Buddy Poffin. Our search has come leaps and bounds in the 3 episodes that we've done so far. The Poffins are predominantly there for Tatsugiri and for our Duskulls, with the rest being for our attackers. We might be able to reduce these numbers now, particularly the Ultra Balls, but they do get us the Dusklops and the Dusknoir, so we'll play around with these ratios in coming episodes, but it's really exciting to have this much ball search now. Speaking of search, we've also got 1 Earthen Vessel for some energy search. We've got a Super Rod for recursion. Just 1 rare candy. See how I go. I think 1's going to be fine, because half the time we're going to be looking for Dusklops anyway, not just going straight into a Dusknoir. So 1 rare candy should be fine, and then 2 Counter Catcher to supplement our boss. Really excited about our item lineup this week. Then lastly, a few of the more simple parts of the deck. We have 2 Hops Choice Band. If I had more, I'd add more. We have 3 Post-Wick, which I think I'm actually quite happy at 3. I don't think we'll ever go up to 4, but our 4th stadium is an Artisan. I think I'd prefer this to be something like, not Stormy Mountain, the Calamitous Mountain, the one that puts damage on non-water Pokemon. I'll throw it up on screen. But for now, an Artisan is a lovely, fine addition. And then for our energy, we have got Fine Basic Metal, 1 Basic Dark, and a Jet Energy. I like the Jet. I think the Jet just makes me feel more comfortable. Also means that we can, if we need to shuffle anything around to get a Zacian in and out to do, what is the name of the attack? If we want to get a Zacian doing Brave Slash twice in 1 turn, because obviously it can't use this attack next turn, but if we retreat thanks to Latias' free retreat, Jet Energy it back in. There's some plays to be had there. I like keeping the Jet Energy around. It makes me feel safe. But that is our list for this week. As you've seen, we've already played our games. This deck tech is definitely done after the week's games, but I think they're very interesting. I think the cup didn't go how I expected it to, and that's actually a good thing. We had 5 rounds of best of 3 games at Reading Cup before a 3-round top cut. That meant we were looking for about 10 points, depending on how the day shook up, to make top 8. Our first round of the day saw us up against Joltik Box, which can be a tough matchup. However, our opponent starting a single Lily's Clefairy EX definitely helps. We set up rather nicely against the Miraidon EX tandem unit on the opponent's field, but I think we focused a little bit too much on the Clefairy and poorly placed some damage counters that should have been more targeted at the immediate threats, and I fell behind in Game 1. In Game 2 we got the item lock established and managed to bench some Duskulls this game, learning from our mistakes and looking more towards the Iron Hands and Pikachu EX with our damage. This time our early spread and well placed Dusknoirs took us into a Game 3. Our last game started poorly for our opponent, starting an Iron Leaves EX that I hadn't even seen this round so far. We hid behind item lock, taking advantage of the slower pace of play to fully power up a Zacian EX on the bench, which we used to one-shot the poor Clefairy that he only benched for fear of being donked. Free from item lock, however, he got his board established and we both began trading prizes. Time was called, and I'm genuinely not sure who would have taken the game had we had more time. But we start the day on a tie, which I am not upset about. We saw a familiar matchup going into round 2 with Frostlass Munkidori, but this time the addition of Lycanroc. Game 1 saw us make ample use of our new Budew while setting ourselves up for the double Dusknoir Dusclops play into Cramorant and rolling through from there. Game 2, however, we tasted our own medicine being item locked for many turns, but thankfully our own Munkidori meant that we really slowed down our opponent's game plan, which didn't seem to be moving at a fast enough pace to stop us setting up, even under item lock. Eventually Zacian started to clear up and we took our first win of the day. How's it going, Sam?
That's far too close. It is so close.
Round 3 we came up against a Clodsire build of the Poison package. Game 1 saw us donked turn 1, reminiscent of our games in the first week. Game 2, however, saw our opponent get off to a slow start, attaching a tool to Brute Bonnet and passing twice, while we set up very nicely on our side of the board. While they did eventually start to get set up, we hunted down their Brute Bonnets, making it much harder for them to establish their game plan. Game 3 didn't start so well, as we drew 7 cards off an early Iono. Oh, so is there another card? I've technically drawn 7 cards. Judge?
What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna give you a double prize cut penalty for drawing an extra card.
We took the double prize penalty and locked in trying to recover from our mistake. Doubling down on our strategy from game 2, we took out the Brute Bonnets and picked off Whoopers on the bench, both with Snipes and Dusknoirs, managing to pull the game back for our second win of the day. Going into round 4 on a winning streak, I was feeling really excited, and I saw we got paired with one of the nicest players in the room. Kyan was on Dragapult Dusknoir, which is a real uphill battle for us. Game 1, Dragapult did Dragapult things despite us taking the first prize of the game. A swift stage 2 saw our Duskulls taken out in a counter-catcher play, leaving us with a rather basic board state, ultimately scooping after barely scratching his dragons. Game 2 we again started with the early pressure, however the lack of Dragapults for Kai was a massive boon for us. We knocked out the Dreepies he'd been powering up in preparation to evolve them, and burst down a Fez with Dusknoir, giving him very little options of coming back. Game 3 started in a dominating fashion for us. Within 2 turns we have taken out his only 2 established Dreepy, leaving him a sole Duskull in the active. Unfortunately, a timely Ursaluna, a devastating Iono, and a counter-catcher saw the tables turned before we threw the game by rebenching a Duskull that had no right to be there, allowing him to take his final 2 prizes with Dragapult. I think this last game could have been winnable, misplay aside, if we'd had something like Blood Moon Ursaluna in the deck, but that's something for next episode to sort out. All in all, it was a solid outing against one of the best decks in the meta, piloted by a very good player. Now before we get into round 5, I am going to preface it with 2 things. Firstly, this was our win and in to top 8. It is wild that we were ever even in this situation. Secondly, it was an extremely hot day, and I was not feeling my best by this point. For reference, our camera had already overheated once to give you a real state of the room. We never really pulled ahead in either of the games, and we made quite a few mistakes when using our Dusknoir, especially in a situation where we messed up the prize race, locking ourselves out of using Cramorant, but overall we were just generally outplayed in an unfamiliar matchup. Ultimately we missed out on top cut, ending the day on 2 wins, 2 losses and a tie for 7 points. Might have lost our win and in, but we still have prize packs for this week. 1 season 5 and 1 season 6. Looking hopefully for some Harvens, some more Ionos, or maybe some straight nest balls actually. Fantastic. Sparkly, but not it. Oh, if we go down the poison route, this is handy. But otherwise, mainly just nest ball. Series 6. Fez we need, please. Come on. Let's get Fez. This doesn't help me. Not terrible. Not what we want. Whiff, swing, and a miss. Maybe we can try and trade some of this shinier stuff away for things we actually need. Talk about an intense debut for our Zacian EX. Coming within a game of making top cut was huge, and now more than ever, I think I am clear on what our end goal of this series should be. We've got a few months before competitive play returns, with cups and challenges, and when they do, I want that top cut. Heck, I want to shoot for what would end up being my first actual cup win, and I want it to be with this sealed only deck. We did have some prize packs that you saw, but next episode I'm going to share some final trades that we got from our locals after the event wrapped up. But we do still have one last thing here for this episode. If you noticed, I did a bit of a maths error when I was opening the packs at the start of the episode and had more left over than I thought. So I figured, hey, we'd give Journey Together one more shot, crack into this pack and see if we can't get ourselves a third Zacian, a Postwick, some extra goodies, or even just something awesome to fill in our trade binder. Because of all this trading we're doing, I'm kind of getting low on good stuff, to be honest. Let's see what's in it. Like I said, don't get me wrong, more hop stuff would be good, but I am kind of just hoping for something to put in our trade binder, because I am running low, and that seems to be the best way for us to get the cards we want. No AR, but a hop Snorlax. You know what? That's not awful. That's not awful. If nothing else, it means I can put some matching arts in our deck now, or as a reverse. We have reverse holo and regular holo at the moment, so if nothing else, that's a nice little rarity bump. I'll take that. I'll take that for our last little pack of the day. Next week, I am pretty sure I know where I want to go with the pack openings. I've ordered something from Eclipse Games, from Eclipse Cards, sorry, who's a good friend of the channel and has supplied many of our sealed only stuff over the years. I've also ordered some Shrouded Fables, I forgot the set name for a second, a few of you in the comments have suggested, so it'll be one of those two products that we open next week most likely, but from there I'm not too sure, so please keep your suggestions coming in the comments below, and together we'll crack this deck. Let's do it.